1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little torts, and 3 little blacks. That is way too many babies, Mama. I gotta hope that somebody else has some babies so you can have a foster family for yours. My goodness. See, this one has a little black spot on its back. 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, I guess that's okay. Come over here. So, season 2, big change. We've got all our mamas and our older kits out here, except for the boys that we've already had to separate out because they're old enough to breed. We don't want them out here in the colony. We had 105 rabbits out here until just now. I brought one more. She was a first-time mom and she kindled too early and her babies weren't developed enough to survive. So since she is finished with that whole process, I went ahead and brought her out. And let me flip this camera around. Hi, Andy Davis. You've made it out here to the farm. Everyone has greeted you. You've already left your travel cage and everyone is trying to decide whether it's a good place to hang out. Everybody has come to visit. I see violets are blue. I see some of the babies. Oh, there is another black magpie mama, and now I don't even know which one you are because you all have different patterns, but I don't have them memorized. Oh, there's my little Heartland girl. You're still so tiny. I wish you would get big. Not much battery left, but everybody seems to be coming. Okay, you are, I think we decided you are east. I've gotten confused. I think that you are east and your sister west is the black and white one. So the covers that I've put down are good when it's not too windy, and when they are windy, they're doing this. So we have ordered some camo netting to go all the way around the outside to prevent some of these scares that my rabbits have been injuring themselves from. Yes, you are so pretty. Hi, violets. Somebody's wanting to buy violets, but I can't come and get them because they live on the other side of the state. So we'll see if anything ever happens there. Hello, somebody is poking me. Who is poking me? Who's poking me? Oh, hello. See Eureka up there. Hey, who's chewing on my socks? Don't be chewing on my socks. Hey. You silly rabbits. some upgrades, but for now everybody's looking good. Oh, I was gonna go and get you guys some leaves. I see Aurora's found one of the final leaves to sneak through the roof, which I'm very glad because I saw 3 hawks flying around the barn earlier. There's some bunnies all the way down. Looks like some of you might be thirsty. Okay, let me check your water. Ah, there's West. West has taken up residence in the carrier. Silly bunnies. They're pretty ones. We did go ahead and get them a salt lick because they're not eating as much pellet food with all the minerals and things in it, and we thought they might be needing a little extra salt from being mostly on hay and forage out here. That's Kiss My Grits. Oh, Kiss My Grits. I don't know who's in front of you here blocking the view except for Heartland. Just chilling out, Kiss My Grits. I got a tote and I filled it up with hay, and I really thought they would have all pulled out by now and be living in there, but they have barely made a dent. But they have so much hay out here. I mean, they've got 3 or 4 bales that they can get to and sit on. Hey, there you came to see me. You're looking like you're getting a winter coat. Everybody's got a sniff, huh? Oh, there's one of my lilacs. I think that's Dash right there. Ah, and there's my little chocolate steel. I believe it's got to be a steel, although I'm not really sure. I don't have that color as a rule. It's my first one, so I don't really know what she is. Just wanted to get a little bit of video before my phone dies. We'll be doing some more video when we start putting up the camo netting. Okay, I'm going to see if I can stand up without sending everybody into a tear, because they seem to forget I'm here, and then they suddenly see me move and they freak out. That's just what rabbits do. They are prey animals, and they are used to being chased down. And I'm pretty tall, so they just, well, compared to a rabbit, that is pretty tall. Oh, there's Berenstein Bear. She's probably one of my oldest bunnies out here. She's been such a good mom. Such a good mom. Yes. Oh, hello. You want to be a mom too, West? You want to be a mom? Good bunny. Yes, you're sweet babies. It's nice to be able to just sit down and relax for a minute with, oh, there's one of the little fusion babies. Oh, that's a buck. It's got a stripe down its back. I don't know how long that'll last, if it'll last until it's time to separate those baby bucks out or not, but I wanted to go ahead and try and mark them at least, just to make it a touch easier when it comes roundup time. That'll be an interesting video when it's time to round up the baby bunnies. Okie dokie. Well, it's time for me to start getting your food and everything done. You really like that carrier though, don't you? You're so funny. Okay, here we go. Well, nobody's panicked yet. That's good. Bless you. Get hay up your nose. You're sitting in your water. Get out of the water. So I went out in the woods and grabbed up some leaves in a feed bag that we had just emptied. We'll see if the rabbits like them as well when I pick them. of them thinks it's all smarts. Whoops, who cried? Who cried? You guys can't be stepping on each other with your sharp toenails over at the feeder. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts. Be nice. Oh, you scared the baby off the rock. But that one's figured it out. Yeah, there's a low side. There's a low side, baby. Look at you. Hello. Hi, sweeties. Feeling friendlier? You weren't so sure what to do about things when you first got here, little one. Your mama doesn't look nearly as huge when she's out here. She looks like just one of the crowd, even though she's a good few pounds heavier. It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you, little fusion baby. Alright, I'm at it. Oh, cute and tiny.
Squishy little stupids.
No, not squishy little stupids. Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tattoo this mama rabbit, H97K. We've got a handy dandy tattooing. We got an ear. We got some black ink. So here we go.
Oh, I can't see. Good girl, Pikachu. Clayton, you named this rabbit. That named her Pikachu. She was one of the electric types. Probably did. Well, I asked you what all the names of the electric types were. Picked some. Are you feeling done? Are you on the K?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they always tend to act up on the very last
There
letter.
we go. All tattooed.
Can you see it?
All done.
You want to wipe it and show how well it did?
Sure.
You'll be so glad to get out to the farm.
You gonna list your ingredients, Dad?
I do have an unboxing video of the actual tattoo gun.
You don't let it go in the ear.
It's alcohol, it'll evaporate.
There you go.
H97K. Because P and I were already taken.
Okay.
That's it.
There are 113 rabbits in the colony, and we are about to take another litter that just turned 8 weeks. Some of them, I call them all one litter. Some of them are Arizonas, and some of them are Desh's. Desh did not build a good nest, so I've given her babies out to be fostered, and 3 of them were with Arizona, and she took really good care of them. Now, we brought them up here to do their tattoos so that we don't mix them up with all the other little Dutch bunnies that are already out there. And we went to do Arizona's tattoo and realized that we had already done it. We did it with the KB Tats pen, and we started to redo the parts that were faded. I don't know if you can see, but she wasn't very happy about it, and there was enough left that we could still tell who she is. But you can see where that's really faded. But you know who she is. You're a good girl, aren't you? Her sister Squish has some babies that will be going out to the farm in a week or two. I think they're only about 6 weeks, and they just seem so much younger than the other rabbits because they're so tiny. Even though we've taken some other litters that are only like 7 weeks out, probably wait until all the Dutches are 8 weeks just to give them a little bit more growing time. So our bunnies have been getting scared. We got this camo netting and we're just doing a quick zip tie job, putting it up to make them feel a little safer. You can still see them through it, but we're hoping that it feels more like a bush that they're hiding behind rather than being completely exposed with the wire. So it's just some cheap camo netting, lightweight. He's zip tying the top, and I'm supposed to be coming along and doing the bottom, but I'm a few zip ties behind because I ran to grab my phone before we got completely done. We're almost up to the door where we're gonna have to cut it and go around, but we're still on our very first package. We thought we might need 5 packages to go all the way around, but I think if we really wanted to, we could go around a couple of times for extra thickness, but I don't know if we'll need to do that or not. So it seems to be working really well, cutting some light and everything out. So we'll show you when it's done, hopefully in the light. I don't know if you can see at all, but we got 2 high jump rabbits. I think they're cheating off of a nest box, but they're still on top of a hay bale that's sitting on top of nest boxes. So that's got to be at least 3 feet high. We got 2 of them sitting up there. So we just got done at Lowe's. I'm not sure who he's kissing out there, but whoever it is, shame on you. We were watching a video on An American Homestead and saw a feeder that they had for wildlife, and we thought, hey, maybe that would be a better design than our pneumatic tubing that just goes straight down into a plate, because it goes down and then it comes back up and has an opening that's just made out of PVC. The only bad thing about that is that you can't see through it like the pneumatic tubing, so you don't know when it's empty, but right now it's always empty, so it's no big deal. We went to Lowe's and we found the pieces that they used for theirs and decided that wasn't actually going to work as well for us, because not all the rabbits have the same size head and they're not all as tall and things like that. We weren't sure if they would be able to get down into the feeder the way that they had set it up. So basically we decided to go with a giant candy cane. Isn't that what you think it is? I mean, it looks like a candy cane to me. We found
thought of it that way, but...
Well, we've only had it for 5 seconds, so it just came to me. Or a shepherd's crook, if you prefer. A big J, so that we can attach it. Well, if you hang it one way, it's going to be a J. If you hang it the other way, it's not, unless you're dyslexic, which you are, so that's okay. What? You're trying to make sure it's a J? You can make it a J, or you can make it not a J. But when we very first saw...
Just show them a picture of it later.
Well, I will. But when we first saw their feeder, you know, it's attached to a tree, so you have this preconceived notion that it has to be up and down like the other feeders that we have. But we were looking at it and we thought, if we turn it sideways and hang it along the wall, we can tilt it, because we're not confined to a tree. We can tilt it however it works. So we'll fill it up with food and then we'll attach it once we figure out what angle the food is actually going to come out and be accessible to the rabbits. The rabbits are not going to be as happy with this one as with the other one, because right now probably 20 rabbits are standing around the bowl all together, and with this one they'll probably only have 2 or 3 that'll be able to eat at the same time, if that, because the mouth of the feeder is just smaller. But however, there's a
we
however.
are doing our very best to get away from as many pellets as possible and just feed a lot of hay. So
Yeah, but since we have grow outs and we want to keep our rabbits healthy with as many minerals and things, we do want to still feed them pellets. So
yes,
work, so we're taking you along for the ride. There's a little bit of daylight left. Keaton's got the tractor out, talking to the guineas, I think, over there. Gonna take the rabbits over in on one of the four-wheelers instead of driving the car out because it's so muddy. Are you hiding? We're gonna
feed the horses.
Head on out there. Apparently I'm feeding the horses before we go. The horses are down there waiting for me to feed them. I would usually let them out, which I think I will. I think I'll just let them out and then feed them on the way back. They like to just get out and graze a little bit. Hey guys, you ready to get out for a little bit? You ready to get out? You're wet. You're so wet. I need to go and do your supper. Hi, Gypsy. She's a good boy. Hi, Scarlet. She's a good girl. Okay, back. Back. You want to sniff the camera? Okay, back. Back. Yeah, you want to come out. Come on, Scarlet. There you go. So wet. Okay, you guys have fun. I'm gonna go look in the rabbits. Rocky, do you like the horses? Are you guys gonna graze over there for a while? Are you doggies hungry too? Is everybody so hungry? There's my good Mulder and Scully. Such good puppies. Hungry. Let's get you some food. I don't have a scoop. You happy now? Hey turkeys, you're gonna have to wait your turn. Horses have moved over into the field. We're gonna head back up and get the four-wheeler and our first October litter of bunnies that's coming out to the colony. They are champagne d'argents, and there are 4 of them, 2 boys and 2 girls if I remember correctly. And they're still mostly black. Their eyelashes have started to turn silver, and their feet, and a couple of them have some silver spotting on their back. But their mom is is the first female champagne that we bought, and they're out of mostly Arkansas lines, and we will see if they get to be as big and beautiful as the rest of their family. I load them up. Hey guys, you guys ready? I got the babies loaded up on the back, and Mama, I'm using this feed bag to hopefully block the wind on the drive down there so they don't completely freeze out or lose their little cute ears. Keaton's going to glue those pieces of pipes together, except for the cap. We gotta leave that cap loose, of course, but with it being tilted, we don't want any chance of rain blowing in on it before it's empty and destroying all our feed. So we do want the cap, but it's not a screw-on cap, it's just a set-on cap. So we'll just have to be careful, see how well that works. May have to stick a string on it or something so we don't drop it on the ground every time we have to refill the food. But we are off to go see how the new camo netting held up. I'm gonna try and get there before it gets completely dark again, or you'll just see the same thing you saw last time, which was a whole bunch of nothing. You can see the horses are making their way across the field. That's usually about where they are. Hey babies, you guys feel safer? You're looking pretty good out here. You don't think I can see you? Yeah, I love that. You don't think I can see you? Okay, well it's trying to rain and I don't want my babies in here to get soaking wet. So let's head on over and get you set up in there, huh? All right, we're gonna do this down and dirty. I'm just gonna open the door and hope that nobody tries to sneak out while I'm sneaking these new ones in. I don't know if you can see any better from over there or not, but guys, look at Silver. Look at Silver. There's a good mama. There's a good mama. Hello, little Dutch babies. Hi, Violets. You come to see? You come to see the new champagne babies? Huh? All right. Now everybody is in here. I need to get one of those little tripods, but we have a flooding situation. Do my shoes smell funny today? I would just see as many of you filming my feet as filming the rest of the rabbitry. Can I walk yet? Can I walk? You guys are so funny. May I please walk? May I please walk? Can I take a step? There's one. I really want to take another step. Thank you. Oh my goodness, there's a new bunny in the way. Uh-oh. Is that you, Silver? Or is that one of your babies? I'm not even sure. You guys all look alike. Hey, okay, I'm gonna step over you. Please don't jump in front of my foot. It's too dark now. By the time we got the camo netting up on all the sides, when you came inside the rabbitry, you could hardly hear the generator running anymore. It was amazing, just that amount of camo netting. It's full of holes. It really dampened the sound. For the most part, our little quick zip ties, which took a couple hours for being so quick, our little quick zip tie job seems to be holding up pretty well. I am very pleased, especially since the rabbits did not go crazy and I didn't see any injuries. It makes me really happy. So we'll get back with you when it's time to start working on that feeder, unless when I get back Keaton's all done, because I was right. By the time I got back to the barn, Keaton had already finished assembling the whole J feeder. So he already piled some hay up on the tractor and the feeder. I call it a J feeder because it's shaped like a J, but it is not one of the metal J feeders that when you Google J feeder, this is not what's going to come up. So I guess I need to call it the candy cane. So I'm going to get a couple of bales of hay so that we can scatter them and try and get the rabbits up out of the water a little bit more. because of that lovely and fully unexpected river, which I knew that some water would come off the mountain, but not like what we've got right now, which is just a river from one end to the other. Very annoying. But that's what this season of the rabbitry is about. Our colony needs help, and we're working on it. Well, I was right. By the time I got back, Keaton had assembled the candy cane. Well, I can't call it a J feeder because those metal ones are called J feeders. So it's got to be a candy cane. Or a Ricola. Ricola. Didgeridoo. That works pretty well. Woo, that smells like some serious glue. Okay, the rabbits are looking at you like you have absolutely lost your mind. You hear it, don't you? Oh, you're trying to get in there. Did you get a bite? Did you get a bite, or were you frustrated? You can't tell.
Turn the light down in there and see how full.
Whoops. Can't see from there. See?
Yeah, it's about a third full.
Okay, so that should be plenty to figure out the angle. I see it, and the small rabbits can get to it. And if you tilt it right there, they can stick their heads in. And if you tilt it... Okay, so that's straight up and down. You look and see if you think that's a good angle from the other side.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Okay, so our brains figured out the correct angle without any trying and trial. I am happy with that too. Here's the lid so that we don't make it too tight. Ah, the good old dog fence wire. That has come in so handy. Quite as much.
Well, tomorrow I can come out with some spikes.
Or a drill. Just make a hole. The trouble is I guess we're just going to have to use a cup to feed it because it's so tall. Bottom one, you can go through if you can get your wire bent right.
Sweet darling, that one right there will hold them for the evening.
I think the bottom will be fine. Yeah. So I'm looking at this. Is this the same diameter as the pneumatic piping? Because if it is, couldn't we just get those same bottoms and put them on the pneumatic tube? Not the same.
No, it's like a 5-inch pipe.
Oh, darn. See, look, it's just a mud hole here. So
We gotta get gutters.
Hey there, little baby. Did you find a little bite of hay to eat? Hmm?